Hey there, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I'm sharing with you a beautiful sign that I created for Quantum House for Mother's Day. But I think this sign has such great potential to be created perhaps with a beautiful transfer or a stencil or some type of wording or saying, not just for Mother's Day, but for any holiday or special occasion, and as well for everyday decor. Therefore, I'm inviting you to come with me while I create this one, and I encourage you to think about how you might create this piece for your home or your business or as a gift. I have lots of ideas for this one. Now, it does resemble somewhat another sign that I made recently, but there's some very, very distinct differences. I'm going to show you a really great, amazing find that I found in the wood department at Hobby Lobby. And that's what inspired me to make this beautiful sign, which I mentioned is going to be for the Quantum House. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But I just wanted to share this one with you today because I think it has so much potential. This is the piece I was referring to. I had never seen this before in the wood department at Hobby Lobby. I got it for 40% off, and I absolutely love it. It's about 16 inches long by 12 inches wide. It just depends on how you look at it. You could use it vertically or like I did horizontally as a sign. I'm going to be placing this one on an easel. That's my dog drinking, and if you can hear her in the background, she always chooses to do things when I start my voiceover. Anyway, so I took this sign outside and I gave it a nice coat of white spray paint. Much easier to do than hand painting it with all of that scrolling. I also have here some wood letters that I had purchased on Amazon at some point in time. But these are going to be perfect raised little wood letters for this sign to say Happy Mother's Day. I also took those outside, lined them up on some painter's tape, and sprayed those as well. So now I'm all set and ready to go to start creating this piece. Now, I want to place some scrapbook paper in that oval so that I can place my wood letters on there. And I wanted it to have a pretty colorful background. So scrapbook paper is always the way to go for that to occur. So I'm going to be using, again, you saw me using this combo before, but I absolutely love it with the florals that I'm going to be using. So I'm using that Celebrate ribbon and also that pink polka dot ribbon that I got on craftoutlet.com. I have here some florals that you've seen me use these before, but they're just so perfect for this piece. They're spring florals. I have some little tiny flowers as well as some medium spring blooms, and I'm going to be placing those around the oval, around the beaded area, and I'm going to be attaching them right to that scrolling sort of scalloping thing going on that sign, which is so pretty. I can't believe I found that sign. I got it 40%. I guess you could call it a sign. I got it 40% off. So, hopefully if you're interested in this, you'll be able to find this one at your Hobby Lobby. I took a piece of tissue paper and I just kind of pressed it to the perimeter of that oval. And I took my pencil and outlined that area so that I could make a pattern so I could cut out a piece of scrapbook paper to fit inside of that oval. And again, that's where I'm going to be placing my wood letters. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that out carefully and try and get it as close as I possibly can to fitting perfectly within that oval. Now I'm going to use some Mod Podge to attach that scrapbook paper to that oval. But as well, you could probably use a glue stick. But, I'm a kind of a creature of Mod Podge habit, I guess you could say. And I'm going to just go around that oval, especially up there in those little crevices where I want that scrapbook paper to lie perfectly flat up against that beaded area. So I'm going to put a nice layer of Mod Podge on there with my sponge applicator. And then I'm going to place that scrapbook paper right there in the middle. Now, I decided to use that orchid purplish scrapbook paper. That one was from Joann's. Nice, sturdy, heavy scrapbook paper. And it has little flowers on it, so I thought that was really a good choice for this piece. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to be making this for the Mother's Day at the Quantum House, which I had done a recent video called Pay It Forward. If you'd like to, if you're interested in what I'm doing for Quantum House, I'm donating many of the pieces that I do on my channel. And the facility is an amazing, beautiful facility with an amazing staff who appreciates absolutely everything that I make for them and provide for them for holidays and just general decor. And if you're not familiar with what Quantum House is, it is the same exact type of facility as Ronald McDonald's house. They house families that have a child in the family that's being treated for a serious medical condition. So the goal is to create as much of an atmosphere as possible for families who are away from home, perhaps on birthdays or holidays, or just in general. Try to add some color and a little bit of a festive feel, with hopes that that will make a difference. And I am just so very happy to be doing it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place my primary flowers that are about, I want to say, medium-sized blooms. And I'm going to go ahead and place those around. And I don't just place them going one direction, if you will. I kind of place them this way and that way. And then I'm going to fill in with a lot of very small florals, like baby's breath and some really tiny blooms and pinks and orchids. I do add a couple of pink blooms to this later. So I just use hot glue to attach it, and that does just a very satisfactory job. And there's certainly a lot of little crevices and places to stick those flowers. Now, I do cut them down close to the bottom of the bloom so that they set more flush on the piece. And then, of course, I have to add my very favorite white flower from Hobby Lobby. It always just takes it up to another level because these are the most beautiful flowers. I use them in absolutely everything. So I have a lot of my little tiny blooms, and I got these from Michael's, from the Dollar Tree. There's actually some from the Dollar Tree there. I did get the baby's breath from Wal Mart, so they're from here, there, and everywhere. So just went to my floral stash and pulled out a bunch of little tiny flowers. And this really, really finishes this piece in such a beautiful way. Because those large blooms, while they, add so much to the piece, once you start placing in those small blooms to just really frame the larger ones, wow, it just comes alive, if you will. It just comes to be so, so, so pretty. So I'm just going to go around and very carefully and creatively add all of those floral touches to that beautiful sign. Now you can see how this is coming together. It just is such a beautiful, beautiful piece to work with. So I did do a Mother's Day sign that had similar florals, and it did have a saying, but this, I felt I really wanted to share this with you because there is so much potential to this gorgeous piece that I found in the wood department at Hobby Lobby. Now I'm putting my letters on. I'm using Aleene's tacky glue, and I just use anything that's straight to kind of help you to get your letters on track. Be sure that you are, taking note of the center line of the piece and then placing your letters accordingly. So beautiful. I keep getting this idea for something that you could do for a baby nursery with this this wood piece, and I'll mention it while you watch me making a bow, which I recently posted a very detailed bow tutorial, so you can check that out after you watch this video. But I keep getting this idea. It keeps popping into my head how you could make something so cute for a baby nursery with this piece. And I'm envisioning it, using it vertically instead of horizontally. Like, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm providing a plastic clear easel to place this sign on for the Quantum House to place on a table. Okay, and so back to the nursery. I'm picturing putting some kind of beautiful transfer in that oval, or some kind of really adorable, really beautiful, sweet picture of something that you would place in a nursery, and then putting some delicate little flowers around it. Maybe some baby's breath and some little tiny miniature daisies, and then just taking some satin ribbons, like narrow ones in different colors, and creating a beautiful bow and having long trailing ribbons hanging down from the piece, like putting a bow at 6 o'clock and letting the ribbons trail down. I don't know. Can't get it out of my head. I just keep picturing this. So think about it. This could be so much more than just a Mother's Day sign. Oh my goodness. Think about Christmas. You could make a great Merry Christmas sign. You could stencil beautiful scripted Merry Christmas letters, and use Christmas florals, beautiful Christmas ribbons. Okay, so while you're watching me make this bow, one more thing I want to mention is I am going to mount this piece onto a plain wood piece. Now, I did have to have my son, I have two sons, and both of them are just amazing with wood. But I solicited one of them to cut out an oval for me. And now, how did I get the oval shape? Well, I placed that sign that I got at Hobby Lobby down on a piece of brown craft paper. I went around the entire perimeter of that piece with a ruler, and I marked 1¼ inches from each, going all the way around the entire piece. And I'm sorry I didn't show that to you. I thought that I did, but it turns out that I didn't. But in plain words, what I did was I created a line going all the way around in an oval shape by going every inch or so. I measured 1¼ inches from the edge of that wood piece. And then what I did after that was I connected all of the dots where I put a mark at the 1¼ inch length. And I took a pencil and I just drew and attached all of my little dots together. And I cut it out and I gave it to my son. And I said, please cut out a wood oval for me. A nice thin wood. I believe it's like around 1/8 of an inch thick. And my son did it for me very kindly. And I appreciate that so much because now I have this beautiful piece of wood, which of course he did a phenomenal job of cutting it out. He sanded it for me and everything. He actually put it on some type of wood that has a finish on it. I would have been fine with him just doing it on just any piece of wood, but he gave me a very nice piece of wood, probably from one of his projects. He has a carpentry side business. He's a firefighter, but he has a side business, and he is amazing with wood. Oh my goodness. He does beautiful, beautiful work. But anyway, I'm going on here, but I'm just thankful to him that he did that for me, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. So I have my bow made. I put those 2 bows together using my bow making technique, which you could see in my previous video. And I just hot glued that right to the sign. And now I'm just going to ripple the tails of my ribbon, and I'm going to place little dabs of glue because I want those tails to sit exactly the way I want them. And I certainly don't want them falling down over the Happy Mother's Day letters. So I just glued them right to the florals, and you can see how beautiful it is so far. I am just loving this piece. Okay, here is this magnificent oval that my son cut out for me. You can see it's on very thin wood. And I guess I must have made a pretty good pattern because he did a great job of recreating that oval. So I'm going to be placing that sign on there with Aleene's Techie Glue. But I wanted it to be a little bit darker. So as it turned out, like I said, this wood that he gave me, on the back side it was more of like a textured wood, but on the top it was more of a finished, I'm not really sure what you could say about it. It might have been like made for cabinets or something. I'm not really sure. But I thought, you know what, let me see if I can get it to change color a little bit here and make it a little bit darker. So I took my Waverly antiquing wax and a rag, and I put a layer of that on there. Now, it didn't make a huge difference, but that's okay because I am going to distress it with a chippy brush and Snow White Waverly chalk paint. And that was always my vision for this piece. And regardless of how light or dark that oval is, I'm going to be kind of distressing it up with white chalk paint anyway. So you can see it didn't make a huge difference, but it really doesn't matter because you'll see here and shortly that I just went over it with the white paint. Anyway, I did stain the back side or use that Waverly antiquing wax and also the sides, the little edges of the piece, and that turned out very nice as well. So of course I want now you can see the difference in the way that the wood took the antiquing wax as opposed to the front side. And there it is, the back. And I'm fine with the way it turned out. I'm just so happy that I have this beautiful oval shape back for my sign. So I'm going to use like the chippy brush. It's got those kind of like scraggly bristles, and that's exactly what I want to, if you want to call it distressing it, that's what I'm doing here. Now, I don't care if some of my areas are a little bit heavy. Now, I'm going to do this in the same direction that I'm going to be sitting the sign, which is going to be horizontally. So I'm going to do it in a horizontal direction. And I'm just going to take my time. I dip my brush into my paint, dab it a little bit, and then I dab it onto the paper towel because I don't want too many heavy globs. And so this is going to turn out just beautiful. And then I'm going to be placing my floral piece on there, and just about 1.25 inches of the edges are going to be showing. But of course, I went ahead and painted my distressing onto the entire surface of that oval. Now, if you were going to hang this piece, it would be a good time to put a hanger on after you finish distressing, if you intend to do that with yours. Okay, so I have all of my distressing done. I wanted a lot of white on there to pick up all that white on my floral piece, and I'm very, very happy with that. Now, I was really hoping that my big clips from the Dollar Tree were going to be long enough to help hold that sign on there to dry, but no, they weren't. So, yeah, I had to resort to using some cans of food from the kitchen. Okay, so I am going to turn this over without crushing my bow. So I'm holding it up to keep from smashing my bow, because I just cannot tolerate a smushed bow. Yeah, I'm like, every time I give somebody a wreath or anything that I do, I have to give them a big lecture on how to take care of their piece so they don't smash the bow. You know, I just love my bows. Okay, so I'm going around and I'm making sure that I'm putting the alien tacky on all of those little curves and scrolls and yeah, all those things on that sign. And then I do put some glue on the oval part of the sign. Now, I hope that you're watching this, you're starting to let your imagination go into drive, because this piece is so pretty. I am sure you are going to see me use this in the future for something. I still have that vision in my head of a piece for the baby nursery. Oh boy. Yep. I'm going to have to try that one day. I'm going to have to put that to the wood and see how it turns out. Okay. I want to have this nice and straight. So I have about 1.25 inches, because remember, that's how thick I measured it out for my pattern. And here it is all finished, sitting on the easel, and I love it. And I'm thinking they are going to love this at the Quantum House. Look how pretty this is. I ordered my easels through Amazon. I just got they're like a clear plastic, but you could get white or any other thing that you like, any type of easel. But I think this is a beautiful way to display this on a table. But of course, you know, you could hang it as well. Okay, so I hope you love this one. I hope you feel inspired. I hope you will subscribe if you are not already. Give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, you all take care.